22-year-old Madison was the kind of student who thought she was untouchable. Her classmates admired her quick comebacks and witty remarks, but her teachers, not so much. And that's exactly how she landed herself in trouble one Friday afternoon. It started in history class. Mr. Reynolds, a strict but fair teacher, was discussing an important topic, the impact of historical revolutions. But Madison, she wasn't listening. She sat at the back of the classroom, scrolling through her phone under the desk, half listening as Mr. Reynolds explained something about the American Revolution. Madison, his voice cut through the room, put your phone away. She barely glanced up. I am listening. Mr. Reynolds folded his arms. Then tell me, what year did the revolution begin? Madison smirked. Oh, I don't know. A long time ago. Before you were born, old man. The class let out a low ooh, waiting for Mr. Reynolds' reaction. His jaw tightened, but his voice remained calm. That's enough. Come see me after class. Madison rolled her eyes. For what? A boring lecture on respect. The classroom fell silent. Mr. Reynolds didn't say another word, but the look in his eyes told her she had seriously overstepped. When the bell rang, Madison packed her bags slowly, hoping to slip out unnoticed. But Mr. Reynolds was waiting by the door. Not so fast, he said. My office. Now. She sighed but followed. After all, what was the worst that could happen? But as soon as she stepped into his office, her confidence wavered. Mr. Reynolds shut the door and sat behind his desk, his expression unreadable. You think you're clever, don't you? He asked, tapping his fingers on the wooden desk. Madison shrugged. I mean, kind of. He exhaled sharply, then stood up. You have zero respect for authority, for this class, for me, and that ends today. She crossed her arms. And what are you going to do about it? Give me a detention? No, he said. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Before she could respond, he walked over to a cabinet, opened it, and pulled out something unexpected, a thick wooden ruler. Madison's stomach flipped. You can't be serious, she said, letting out a nervous laugh. Mr. Reynolds raised an eyebrow. Oh, I am. This is how teachers handled disrespect when I was in school. Maybe it's time you experienced some old-fashioned discipline. Madison's mouth went dry. Hands out, he ordered. She hesitated. Wait. You had plenty of chances to show respect, Madison, he interrupted. Now you'll earn it. Her heart pounded as she reluctantly stretched her hands forward. Crazy. The ruler landed sharply against her palm. She gasped, pulling her hands back instinctively. The sting was quick but real. Again, he said firmly. Madison hesitated, but something in his eyes told her he wasn't playing games. Slowly, she held her hands out once more. Crack. Another sharp sting. This time, her face burned with embarrassment more than pain. By the third strike, her cocky attitude had completely disappeared. When it was over, Mr. Reynolds set the ruler down and looked at her. Now he said, Do you have anything to say for yourself? Madison rubbed her hands, swallowing hard. I'm sorry, she mumbled. Louder. I'm sorry, she said, eyes cast downward. For what? She hesitated before answering. For disrespecting you, for being rude in class. He nodded, finally satisfied. Good, but we're not finished yet. Madison blinked. Wait, what? Mr. Reynolds pulled out his hand. Phone. Her eyes widened. No way. Yes way, he said firmly. You clearly don't know how to use it responsibly, so I'm confiscating it. And I'll be handing it over to the principal, who will be keeping it for a full month. Madison's jaw dropped. A month? That's ridiculous. No, what's ridiculous is your attitude in my class, he shot back. Maybe without your phone, you'll actually listen for once. She groaned, but when he held out his hand again, she reluctantly pulled her phone from her pocket and placed it in his palm. And one last thing, he added. Go stand in the corner. Madison frowned. Are you serious? Dead serious. Hands on your head. No talking. Her face burned with humiliation, but she knew arguing would only make it worse. With a frustrated sigh, she walked to the corner of the room and placed her hands on her head. After 30 long minutes, Mr. Reynolds finally spoke. "Next time, think before you speak." She nodded stiffly. "I will." As she walked out of his office, her hands still tingling and her head spinning at the thought of a month without her phone, she realized something. This was the first time a lesson had truly sunk in.